Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to JK's Tech Lab. Today, I just want to talk about passing the Ping Identity certification for PingFederate. Now, if you're not into IAM or you're not even using Ping, then you may not be aware of this certification. But for me, this was something that I wanted to tackle because this is what I use on a day-to-day basis in my current position, and it was just a way to validate, what I knew about this platform. Because when I accepted the position, as lead for MFA and SSO and stuff like that, uh, we use a lot of Ping products, but I hadn't been exposed specifically to Ping. Like I understood, IAM and Active Directory and MFA and different stuff like that, but specifically as it relates to Ping products, that was new to me. So I had to kind of learn on the job. So this is some of the stuff that, some of the skills that you would have to know to pass this, and just for IAM in general. But here's the outline of what the test covers. And just to give a little bit of background as far as like my preparation, about a month after I started my current position, I was able to take one of their live online courses for PingFederate. But to be honest, that course for me, it was outdated because it was over a previous version, so it wasn't even the version we were on. And then like it was very, very high level. So I had already kind of covered that stuff on my own, just through learning on the job from the previous lead, and going through documentation and going through a bunch of the videos and stuff that they have on their website. So for me, the live training wasn't really all that beneficial. But anyway, you can see kind of the outline of what is covered on this test. And what I would do is I would just go through, I had this printed out, and I would just go through, well, I had a copy of it, and I would highlight it. And I would just go through each line and say, do I know this? Do I know that? Yes, no. If I knew it, I would go to the next thing. Specifically here on the installation, I wasn't around when they installed the product. It was there before me, so I didn't have any experience installing. I had a lot of experience upgrading and patching and all that stuff because I've had to do that. But installation required me to set up my own lab, and that's pretty much what I do with anything. I just set up my own lab so I can go through the installation on Windows and Linux and just get really familiar with that. And I would just play around with that for a long time. And to kind of put it in context, as of now, like the time I'm doing this video, I would say maybe like eight or 9 months that I've been using this product. So just to kind of give you an idea. And the reason I'm doing this, like I said, is probably not as widely known, but I couldn't find any information about the test, about the process. They don't have any practice questions for this exam or anything like that. So I didn't really see anybody talking about it. And I know there are a lot of people out there using it because I see their community and their forums and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of talk about my experience. So yeah, I would just go through all this stuff and just make sure, I knew it or kind of knew what they were talking about. If I didn't, I would go study up on it, different stuff like that. And how I, really prepared, like I said, having my own lab is huge. I always try to do that for anything. So I've just had a lab that I've been able to play with outside of my job, just trying different things and breaking things, fixing things and stuff like that. So that's been really useful. I also, yeah, here's that 3-day. This is the live one. It was cool. Like I said, it was okay. Like I said, if you were totally new to it, and it spent some time going over the basics of SSO, MFA, SAML, different stuff like that. So if you kind of already know that stuff, the first part of the kind of the introduction to the course probably isn't going to be helpful. But then, like I said, depending on what you've learned on the job, and maybe the instructor, or I don't know, it just depends on how you learn. For me, this one, it was kind of low level. It was kind of a little bit slower for me because I was kind of ready to get a little bit more advanced. I'd already kind of picked up the basics, on my own. So, but I will say their on-demand course, probably one of my favorite resources that they have. So they have this on-demand course where you can watch it on your own, but there's also like some little demonstrations that you can kind of click through and go through. But I felt like the on-demand course was very, very well done and covered everything that I wanted to learn. If I need to look up something specific, I would do that. So I would say the on-demand course, and then also, man, their documentation. Like I got super familiar with the documentation just by, if there's something I was trying to set up, for work, I would go look at the documentation. Or if there was something that I saw on the outline that I didn't understand, I would go look at the documentation. Because as with anything, uh, every environment is going to be different. You're not going to use all the tools of a product. You're going to use whatever is specific to, your environment. So I wanted to make sure I understood kind of things outside of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and that's where the documentation came in. Like I said, there were no practice questions for this exam, which is different. Like, this is probably one of the first certification exams I've taken that didn't have practice questions, like none. So I had no idea, what I mean, I could see the outline, but I didn't know exactly what to expect. Like, how do they ask the questions? What type of stuff are you expected to know? So I was going into it just thinking, well, I'm gonna just treat this first exam like a practice exam, so I can just kind of get familiar with their questions and what they're asking. So to see that I passed it for me was validation that I actually know what I'm learning. I'm able to actually manage this platform because, it's something you do every day. So being able to validate that, it feels good, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of why I took this exam and just wanted to see if there was stuff that I didn't know, stuff that we weren't using and things like that. And there is, I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that was presented on the exam that I was like, I have no idea what this is, but I just tried to, calm down and be logical about what they were asking and answer the question. And so to see at the end that I passed was pretty dope. So yeah, just wanted to share kind of my experience with this one. I would say definitely, if you can set up a lab. They let you, do free trials of pretty much all their products. So just set up your own lab if you're using Ping, so you can just try different stuff, try integrating the different products, all that type of stuff. And then, any type of connection that you're not familiar with, if you're not very familiar with OAuth, then try to set up, a bunch of OAuth stuff in your lab, different things like that. Be very familiar with the documentation, and if you can, watch their on-demand courses on their site, as well as just their videos and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully this helps somebody that is kind of considering, getting certified in PingFederate. I enjoyed it. It was a fun test because it really challenged me to see if I understand the product, and I had to really think about what they were asking. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.